All right, so we are doing the project now. So project is this sheet I have open here. What you're gonna do is basically you're just gonna recreate the sheets that I have. I sent you guys a screenshot of this just a little while ago, but that doesn't really show you all the details. So that's kind of for your own reference. But to get the like the moving parts, you're gonna have to take a look at the video or take a look at it right now what I'm about to show you. Okay, so just to reiterate what your task is to recreate these first three tabs of a Google Sheet. So you can go this, if you guys haven't used Google Sheets before, you can just click on, when you go to google.com, there's like that little uh, icon with the 6 dots or something like that, or 9 dots, I think. And then one of the options will be to open up your Google Sheets. Or you can even go from your email. Here, it's just these dots here, and then you go to Sheets. Same thing. Okay, so once you have the sheet open, this is your task. Your task is to recreate, first of all, the budget sheet. Budget sheet should start with incomes. Now, to start, I want you just to exactly recreate mine, but then after you have mine, then you can actually make your own adjustments. And these values, you can choose whatever. I'm just going to assume that you're making stuff up. So like if you put real stuff, I won't know the difference. So it's up to you what you want to do. I'm just going to assume you're making stuff up though. I chose these numbers here, 4,000 to 2,500, because this right here, 6,500, that's about the median household income in Hawaii. I just looked that value up. It's roughly 6,500 per month. And okay, so maybe this is like what you earn at your job. Maybe this is like someone else in your family earning this. And then I don't know, something like rental income, or I don't know, maybe you're selling like small amount of marijuana or something per month. Okay, so this value here, this number on the bottom, it should automatically update with whatever I change up here. So if for some reason I have more money per month from one income source, then if I change this value, the value down here should automatically update. Yeah, the total monthly income. So you see it's 7,500. If I come back to original 500, then it's automatically changed to 6,500. And the same thing for your expenses. So expenses, I just put random stuff: groceries, gas, internet, student loan, dog haircuts. You can adjust the numbers later, and then you can fill these in with whatever actual expenses you want to put. So haircuts, another $500 a month, and then just pick whatever you want to. Okay, so your savings, and then you have some amount of savings, investments, and then mortgage payment. Now, just like before, this value here, the total monthly expenses, that should be such that it's going to automatically update. So if I go crazy at Whole Foods and I shop there instead of shopping at like Times the whole month, then let's say I spent $1,600 this month on groceries, then you see my monthly expenses automatically updates, right? And then at the same time, the income expense, this is income minus expenses. So this is this value here, total income minus expenses. That also automatically updates. So you see it's in the negative now, right? Yeah, so positive, and negative. Then, but if I spend less on groceries, then now it's back to being 0. So this is guys updates, and the difference also updates. So that's your first task, just to recreate this page, and then like I said, just you can change around the actual things. Maybe you don't have a cat, so I don't know. What do you want to spend your money on?
Video games.
Video games. I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that because I just got the Final Fantasy remake just now, like yesterday. Okay, so oh, the other thing is if this value is 0, then it's green. As you saw earlier, if I spend something larger than I have, then it turns red. That should also be if it's less. So if you have extra money, then it should be green. But really, this number should actually be 0. So if you have this money left over, then you should reapply that to like your investments or something. So change this guy to, oh, I don't know, 544 or whatever it is to make this end up at 0. Okay, that's the first page. Everybody clear on the first page?
I have a question.
Yes, what's the question?
Is this gonna be on the YouTube channel as well to kind of like explain how to?
So I'm recording what I'm doing right now, and then
Okay,
I'll post that.
thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so second page, annuities. Remember annuities? This is when you put some money in, right? Like every period, every month, and then it's growing over time. So like a typical example is a Roth IRA. I mentioned that before. Actually, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Annuity. The A stands for annuity. This one is good because it has a tax benefit, so you're kind of protected from paying massive taxes in the end. Maybe you have some other retirement package through your work or something. I just took this example because state workers we have something like this. It's automatically deducted from our paychecks. You can add a third one if you want to, or whatever you want. It's up to you. Let's go back to budget though. So you see this number remaining to invest 144. So, oh, I'm sorry, not that one. Available to invest 544, right? So that number actually should reference this value here, my investment number. So let's change this back to where it was. It was at 400. And I have 144 left over. So what do I want to do? Let's just increase this to 160. Okay, back at 0. Okay, sorry, I got distracted a little bit. So the investment number 400 here, that should carry over to this box here. So you see if I change this one to 500, then this updates to 500. Yeah. Leave it at 400 for now though. Back to 400 here. Okay, and then so there's a couple things going on. So now I have this 400 to invest, right? The two numbers here, actually everything in this column of investments, the M values, these should add to whatever I have here. So I have 340 and 660 that adds to the amount invest. You see that the difference here is this green box, right? That's 0. So if I put something lower, let's say I don't use all my money, you notice it's red. It's red because that means I'm not making use of all my potential money to invest, right? So it should not be, it should be 0. So if I have something less, that means that's no good because I want to put more. Or if I try to put more than I have, so let's say I try to invest like 1400, then it's also 0. This time it's negative because I'm spending more than I have, and that's not a good thing either. But it's also not a good thing to have leftover cash, right? That's doing nothing for you. So this you want it to be exactly 0. If it's 0, then you'll see that the box comes to shades to green, right? And if it's anything other than 0, it should come to red. But you guys can pick colors that you like better if you don't want green. Okay, the other thing is the total of investments should be here. This should be at least $1 million. This is the total for 40 years. Okay, now where does this come from? It comes from the sum of these two values, the future values, this guy and this guy, added together. Yeah, so this one should automatically update as well. So let's just change the numbers around again. Let's say I put more money here. Let's say I change it to 540 here. So first thing you notice is that this A value updates, right? That also means this value down here updates. So now it's a 1.5 million instead of where it was at earlier. It was just about at a million. Let's say my rate changes. If I change any of these variables, this number should also update. So let's say I have like a super high rate of say 27%. Then all of a sudden I'm getting $657 million at the end of the period. And see that just updated as well down here, 657,290. That's if you have 27%. What about 17%? What do I get? 20 million. Okay, so this number here, this should automatically update using based on your variables. Right here, M is the monthly payment, R is the interest rate, N is the compound, which we're going to assume to be 12, 12 for monthly payments and for monthly compounding, just to simplify things. And then T is the amount of years, which I recommend keeping at 40, but you can change it around if you want to put it smaller or higher. But whatever you choose, this value down here, make sure it's at least 1,000,000. So if you choose it to be 30, then that's going to make it, well, first I should adjust this, then this should say 30-year total. And then it's going to be harder to reach that, right? That $1,000,000 mark. Okay, just return things to where they were though. All right, you guys have any questions so far about this?
Wait, so are we allowed to just use the same rate, like the same rates?
Yeah, so the first starting point, you should just exactly recreate what I have. And if that's what you want to
Okay.
turn into me, then I'll accept it. But it's better if you make up your own stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
These
you.
rates I chose because these are reasonable rates that you can expect to get through like I don't know. Actually, a Roth IRA I think is I forget what it's at. I think it might be a little lower than this. But these are reasonable rates that you might expect with some kind of investment. Okay, so that's this page. You're gonna recreate this page, and then again, like Jack said, you can adjust stuff. You can change some numbers around. Okay, so last page that you have to create is the mortgage page. You're answering the question, how large of a mortgage can I afford? So all you're gonna do is basically input all the variables for the mortgage rate. The P is the one that you are trying to figure out. You don't know. This is the one that should automatically update. Now the M value, how much you have to invest per month, this one should come directly from the first page, the budget page. So see that whatever you put here, the mortgage payment, that should update. So if I change this to, let's say I can afford $4,100. Well, I have to take that 4,000 somewhere from my expenses, right? So this will have to be like, take it from these guys. Okay, so now I'm okay. I can put this mortgage payment now towards my house. And go back to mortgage payment page. You see that this automatically updated to 4,100, right? So this is also what you have to recreate. Okay, so you create that. The rate you can leave at 0.03 because this is the average Hawaii mortgage interest rate. I just looked it up. And N is monthly, T is for 30. This is typical mortgage parameters. So you can just leave these as the same. 30-year mortgage, monthly payments, yeah. And you notice that this automatically updated. So now I can afford a home that's close to $1 million. Or actually, the mortgage is close to $1 million. So there's also probably some down payment that's not mentioned here, which would put the value of the house you're buying probably over $1 million. Okay, so just to reiterate, coming back to the budget page, if I change this to where it originally was, I'm spending $500 in video games a month. Sounds about right. Then come back to my mortgage page. This is updated to 2,100, and this also automatically updates to the mortgage amount, $498,097. So now it's about a $500,000 loan. And that's the project, just to recreate these two things, and you can fool around with your own values or your own categories too.
Quick question.
Yes.
You know how yours auto-populate when you put a number in? Do you need a formula to put in order for it to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you need a formula. And I want you guys to type it in by hand, actually. I don't really know. I think that actually no, if you want to do it some other way other than hand, it might be that the Google Sheets has some built-in formulas. I haven't really looked into it myself, but you might be able to find something on there already if you do a Google search that will automatically put a formula in.
Okay.
Like for example, they have things like sum, or they have like sum will take the summation of a bunch of stuff, right? Like a range of columns, or they have things like standard deviation. I know all kinds of functions built in. So I'm guessing they might have something for the for these financial stuff. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, guys, too, is that you notice that my answer here, it displays nicely with like dollars and cents, right? So I want you to do the same thing. So these kind of like here the p value here, this should display as a $cent value without any extra decimals. And same thing for like the future value here and also down here.
So we should have the commas in and everything?
Yeah, or some display that's nice for finance. And I'll show you that in a second, how we do that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys, so everybody clear on what the project is? Just to make these 3 pages. Any questions about that?
Is this our own personal pay?
Yeah, your own personal thing. Once you have it, then you just share it with me. Well, like I said, though, if you want to exactly recreate this, then I'll accept that. I think you should start by exactly recreating, just to make sure that your numbers are coming out correct, and then you can adjust after that. Better if you adjust, but I'll accept it if you just want to copy mine. That's okay. Okay.
So we just
sorry.
So we just make a copy of like what's written and then do our own numbers. Yeah.
Yes,
so we just copy like
yes.
the words that are written and then put in our numbers.
Right. And then you can also change the words after. Or if you want to add more categories of income, if you want to take away or add more categories of expenses, then you're free to do that. If you want to add a third annuity, you can do that as well. Just make sure this total comes out to at least 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah. You can even do 2 mortgages if you want to. You can split up your payments. If you want to buy 2 houses, I don't know. That's possible. Okay. So let's move on then. We're gonna talk about let me just give you guys some tips, or like kind of teach you how to do some of this stuff. So on this page, what we're gonna do is we're gonna answer this question, or what I want your task is to or compound interest. Okay, so let me see. Let's do this. I think I can open it on this page. Here we go. You guys can see this, right? Formulas. Are you guys seeing this formula page?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's the compound interest future value formula right here, 2a. I want us to recreate this on our Google Sheet. So it's automatically going to calculate a if I give it these 4 values, p, r, n, and t. Okay, a is equal to p times 1 plus r over n to the nt. Let me come back to my Google Sheet. Let me just copy down what I said. A is equal to p times 1 plus r over n to the nt. This is just for reference for myself. Actually copy this and put this up here. All right, so here's how we can do it. A is the thing I want to know, right? Just label my parameters A, P, R, N, and T. Let's put A at the bottom because that's the thing that we're going to end up with. Okay, so P, let's just put a value in. Say we'll start with $100. Rate, let's say, is 10%, 0.10. And it's going to be, let's do semi-annually. I was looking at the interest compound rate of bonds, you say, and it was semi-annually, twice a year, so and it would be 2 in that case. Time, let's say, is, I don't know, 20 years. Oh, this is showing up as a, oh, I know why. This is from my previous class. I made some format changes. just ignore this for now. There we go. Okay, so this dollar, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the A value, this is the future value, right? This is where you type in a formula. So type in a formula, you always start by hitting equals first, so equals. And I want to type this formula, but to type it in, I'm going to reference the p-value. P-value is in this box right here, right? So I can just click on that box, and it'll automatically type it in for me, B4. Or you could just type B4 if you want to. This is going to be times is the Shift 8 button, parentheses 1 plus R. R is this guy, this box. So I can just highlight that, B5, or type it in. Divided by N, which is this box. I just type B6 if I want to, B6. Or click on it. Close the parentheses, exponent, which is Shift 6. And then I'm going to put in my parentheses for the exponent, which is N times T. So parentheses, again, N is B6 times T, which is B7. Close the parentheses, enter. And you see that it automatically calculates for me, right? Let me zoom in a little bit. So in fact, right now, if you guys have not done this already, open up your own Google Sheet and see if you can just do this right now. So just recreate this example page.
Do you want it to be Google Sheet or can I use Excel? Or does it matter?
I'd rather use Google Sheet because when you turn it in, I just want you to share it to me. So you can just share it as a file to me. I mean, you can do the same things in Excel, of course. Actually, Google Sheets is like a dumbed down version of Excel, but just for convenience, if you just share it, if you do it on this, then you can share it to me. And then I can grade it easily. The other thing that's nice about if you use a Google Sheet.
Google Sheets is like Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing.
It's simple.
Yeah, it's like a simplified version of it. The other thing that's nice about Google Sheets is like if you don't have your computer with you, then you can always access it as long as you have access to the internet, then you can just download this anytime. And other people can also edit it with you. So if you have like your family or they want to see it and they want to make changes from their own computer, then you guys can do that too. Okay, anyways, so you notice this value here though? It doesn't look like a nice dollar or cent value, right? Because it's just popping out the result of this formula. But when you actually have the value, you want to round to the nearest either dollar or cent, right? Let's stick with cents. So what you do to do that is you click on the box, go to Format, Number, and then you can choose the version that you like. So previously I had chosen the, I think, financial one, this one. You can choose whichever one you like. I think this accounting one is kind of nice. So let's do that one. So it just has a dollar here and then the numbers. Like that, right? Yeah. And I'm going to do the same thing for this because this is also a dollar amount, right? P. So let's just click on Format and we'll click the same one to be consistent. So there we go. This is not a dollar amount, so I'm going to leave that. This is not a dollar. This is number of compounds, and this is number of years. So these I'll just leave. You guys all got that down?
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes, what's the question? What's the question?
So the formula, how you put it in the box first.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show that one more time?
Sure. This is exactly what you would type into the box.
So I did what you did at the top, but then so in the box with the 704, you put the formula in and then the number will populate.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't type in 704. This is the formula. And then once you change these guys, so if I change this to 1,000, let's actually change to 2,000. Then you'll see this automatically changes to 14,079.98.
I see.
Yeah. Or if I change the rate, the same thing will happen. It'll change again. So let's do 15%.
Why does it say like B5 and B6?
Okay, so this is B column.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the number it is. So if I want to reference in my formula this value, then I call B4. Yeah, that's the p-value, B4 here.
Sorry, I've actually never used Excel like at
No, no
all.
worries, no worries. That's why we're going over it now.
Thank you.
Wait, how do you make it like do the equate like the problem?
Okay,
Like,
so
Yeah, I'm there.
this one?
yeah.
So you start by hitting the equal sign, right? Just type, if you type this exactly as it is, it's gonna work out. Let's start again. So start by typing, so in the box, or you can type in the equation editor, it's the same thing. Start by hitting equals. Yeah. I want to reference this p-value. So I can actually click on it, or I can type it b, that's b4. Right, that's the p-value. Times is the shift 8 button. And then this is 1 plus r, which is b5, over n, which is b6. Close the parentheses, exponent, which is shift 6. Open parentheses, n times t, which is b6, b7. And then close the parentheses. Yeah, it works if you type in lowercase or capital B. It actually doesn't make a difference. So here it is. Oops, I typed it
Wow.
twice.
Where?
Oh yeah, I just typed this.
I learned something. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yay, we're learning.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so is that okay, guys? We're good?
Can you just go back to the formula? I was just finishing filling it out.
Sure.
Sorry, Justin. And where did you say I could click like the accounting or
Oh yeah, so
make it nice?
yeah, click on the box you want, click on format, scroll down to number, and then you can pick on whichever version you like. These are the dollar amounts. These four are like the dollar versions. If I click on this one, it's gonna get rid of cents. You can do that too. I'm okay with that. It's gonna hide it's just gonna hide the cents, but it's really in the information's there in the background.
Yay.
Number for yay.
Oh, I was still.
Okay, ready to move on? I'm not hearing it, but are you guys all muted right now? I think I'm just.
I think we're ready.
Good.
Okay. Okay, sweet.
Ready.
All right, so let's go. The other thing was the colors, right? By the way, if you guys want to add in your own extra colors, you're free to do that too. If you want to just like make things look pretty and I don't know, make background colors, whatever. Do whatever you like. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say money to invest, and we'll put in this so far and remaining. We'll type in these three categories. Let's say just to start with money to invest, I'm going to fill this in myself. So let's say I have $3,000 to invest. And I'm going to do the same thing and format this nice because it's a dollar amount. Actually, all three of these are. So let's just highlight all three, click on format, number, and we'll do the same one we've been using. All right, so I have $3,000 to invest. How much is invested so far? What I want to do is just reference this box here. Or if you have multiple ones, you can put the sum of two. Yeah, so I want to reference this box here. That should be equal sign first, and then whatever box it is. So that is B4. So equals to B4, hit enter. Sorry, I had some formatting left over from my previous class, so let me just get rid of that. Okay. So this should automatically change once I change this top number. So if I change this now to 2,500, you see this also changed to 2,500, right? this should copy whatever it is. And all you do is write equal to the reference for that box to get that. Okay, the remainder, what I wanted to do is be the difference of these two values, whatever they are. So I'm going to type in equals B10 minus B11. Like so this is automatically going to give me the difference between these two guys. That means if I change this now to 3000, then this is nothing, 0. And it because of the formatting, it represents 0 as just that single dash. Or let's say I tried to invest more than I had. Let's say I tried to invest $4,000, but I only had 3,000, right? So it gives me this $1,000 in parentheses. Parentheses means that it's negative. Again, that's a formatting thing. So if I come back to a different version of formatting, like it's a currency, then it'll show it to me as negative instead. But that's kind of just personal preference, how you want it to display. So let's just stick to the parentheses version. Parentheses again means it's negative. Are you guys still following with me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, it's great. So here's the color part now. So I want this to show red if it's negative, and green if it's, actually I want it to show red if it's anything other than 0. I want it to be exactly 0 because I want to make sure that I use all my money precisely, right?
Okay.
Okay, so to do that, I'm going to click on the box. Again, click on Format. You're going to go down to Conditional Formatting. Click on that. And then here's you're going to set the rules. So you're going to set the conditions for when it's going to show what color. So scroll down to if it is equal to, and if it's equal to, I want the number 0. If it's equal to 0, then I want it to show green. So I have the green here. Let's do a different green. Let's do a darker green. I like that shade better. Okay, so I just added the conditional formatting. Let's see what happens if it's exactly 0. So let's say I invested $3,000 and see that it shows green when they're equal, right? When it's exactly 0.
You put equal to 0.
Yeah. Here's the format again. If cells, format cells if is equal to 0. So I put 0. And then I can choose the color I want. All right, so now, okay, here's the format, right? I want to add an additional rule. So I'm going to click on add another rule. And what I want to say is if it's not equal to 0, so if it is not equal to 0.
Where are the rules at? Where do you find that?
Okay, so to start, click on the box, click on Format, down to Conditional Formatting.
Okay.
Yeah. And you just scroll down. If it is not equal to, so click on this box and then you give the different options. So if it is not equal to 0, and then I'm going to change the color now. I want it to show red if it's not equal to 0. So what's the color red that I like? Kind of like these darker reds. Maybe less opacity though. Let's go with this one. Okay, so I close that now. Let's see what happens if I am anything other than 0. So let's say I had less money to invest. Say I only had 2,000. Then I'm in the red, negative 1,000. Negative because it's in parentheses, right? So I tried to invest more than I had. Or let's say I didn't make use of all my money. I had 4,000 to invest, but I only put in 3,000. Then it's also red because I'm not using all my money and not using all my resources. So it's 1,000 extra that I still have. I want this to be exactly equal, so it should be 3,000. Okay, is that okay with you guys?
Where's the second rule at?
Okay, so when you click on the formatting,
I'm sorry.
that's all good. Conditional formatting. Then you have the first one. And if I want to add another one, I just click on this, add another rule.
And it's the exact same rule?
Oh, no, a new one. So, okay, go back again. Conditional formatting. This one is if the value is not equal to 0, then I choose a different color.
And the first rule is if it is equal to 0?
Yeah, right. If the value is equal to 0, then I choose the color I want, the green color. So if it is 0, then it's going to be green. If it's anything else, it's going to be red. In our budget, we had something like that in the annuities page, right? This value was green if it's exactly 0. If it's anything else, it's going to be red. And in the budget page, we also had something like that. If this value is, but this one is a little different. If it's 0 or greater, then it's green. So if I had something smaller, then it would still be green. But if it's bigger, then it was red. If it's negative, then it was red. Okay, is that all right, guys?
Equal to and less than 0.
Equal to,
Second
for
one is,
the,
and then the second rule is value is less than 0.
for which one are you talking about?
The
Our
second,
example?
No, the second rule. So the first rule is value is equal to 0.
Yeah.
The second rule is less than 0.
Second one is actually if it's not equal to 0, because I wanted to show red if I wanted to show red if I don't use all my money too. Or if you want to, you could even do 3. Let's do that. That'll be actually nicer. Let's do this. So let's do 3. Let's change this one. If it is less than 0, it's going to be red. Let's add another one. If it is greater than 0, and I want it to be yellow, maybe like a caution, right? Caution, I haven't used all my money yet. So let's do that then. So if I have $4,000 to invest, but I chose the wrong thing. Hold on. I chose the font color. I want to change the background color. That color. Oh, here, let me just look at my rules again. So the value is equal to 0, it's green. Less than 0, it's red. Greater than 0, it's yellow. So right now I have extra money to spend still, so it's cautioning me. I still have more to invest, right? Well, I kind of like that. I should have done that here. Oh, but too late. I already guys gave the other class assignment, so if I try to spend more than I have, then I'm in the red, right? And if I'm right exactly at even, then that's what I want. I have green. Are you still hearing me? I don't hear anybody. I feel like I'm in a vacuum.
Yes, I still hear you.
Thank you. Okay, is that cool, Sean? You got that? Here's the list of the rules again. Equal to 0 is green, less than 0 is red, greater than 0 is yellow. Yellow, green. Yeah, I know. I was trying to figure out. The yellow's in the middle, yeah? Green on top?
Yes.
Or is it red on the top?
I don't drive.
This looks funny to me. I think it's green at the top.
I think it was green at the top, yellow in the middle, and then red at the bottom.
Yeah, I think you're right. This looks
talking
correct.
Traffic lights.
Right. Okay, ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, so one last skill. Ready. One last skill. Let's say I have a bunch of numbers. I'm just going to teach you one more function.
Should we do a new sheet?
Yeah, so you can just click on the bottom and click on plus to get to a new sheet. This is sheet within a sheet. So this is one overall sheet, and this is a new tab we're opening. I'm just gonna add the first 10 integers together. And let me put the answer down here. So if I want to add all these together, there's a couple ways I could do it. I can just write equals. And then, actually, no, there's only one way I really think. Sum. And then parentheses. And then you could just highlight it if you want to. And close the parentheses. Or you can type this A1, the starting position, colon, the ending position. Let's say I started somewhere else. Let's say this is here. I want to add that sum of those guys. Should be the same sum, right? So I can go to sum. And this time it's C, starts from C2, ends at C11. And I get the sum of these guys. Same 10 numbers, so it adds to the same thing. You can also reference empty boxes and it won't change your sum. So if I include the first box, it's still 55. Okay, and one last thing I want to add though is, let's say I want to reference the number from a previous tab. Let's say I want to put in, let's say I want to put in whatever's in this tab. Let's do this value. So the way I reference that is I just click on this box I have, it equals, type the name of the tab. So the name of that tab is example 1, exclamation mark. Oh, I spelled this wrong. F1, exclamation mark, and then whatever box I wanted. So going back here, this is the box B12. So type in B12, hit enter. And you see that two things happens. It references that number. It also includes the formatting, which makes this guy assume that, okay, then the answer is probably in that same format. But if you don't like that, you can just change it back. Oh no, it's automatic actually. Let's change this one back. Or let's change this to something else. Plain text. Okay, let's just make sure this updates. So let's change this now. Let's say I had 4,000. So now this changes to 1,000, right? You'll see that this automatically updates on this page to 1,000 now, which then changes the sum to 1,055.
Can you show that formula one more time to get that?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. So equals the tab name, exclamation mark, and then whichever box of that tab that you want to reference.
Very interesting, actually.
Was that?
It's really interesting, actually.
Yeah, pretty interesting, yeah. So we use this in our actual thing when we're doing annuities. When we had the, I think available to invest was 400. That came from this whatever value that you had here that carries over to this available to invest. Yeah. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it for skills. So we have all the tools now to build the 3 pages. Any questions?
No.
I think so.
Okay. Shoots.
I think
Just got an error.
Just got an error. So it could be that if you type anything slightly off. I was getting error before because I had a space and I wasn't sure how to get rid of that. So I just ended up changing my title to have no spaces.
Well, it says my B12 is called remaining. That's because that's what I have. So I click on that box B12 and all it says is remaining. So do I type equals remaining?
Oh, okay. So you're okay. So then you're referencing the wrong box because my remaining is the word remaining is in my A12. So you want the one that has a number. So maybe yours are shifted over. So you want to reference the box that has the number in it. Mine is
Right.
B12, but maybe yours is.
No, my number is B12 as well, but then it's like, so then do you put example, like you said, you put like, you go to the next page and put example.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Where do you get the word example?
Oh, that's because the title of my tab down here is example 1.
Oh, so I would just put sheet 1.
Oh yeah, whatever you name it. So you can double click it to change the name
Oh
of it.
yeah.
So let's say
Okay.
name. And then so now to reference it, it's gonna change to name. Actually, it updated for me automatically. Name, exclamation mark. Well, that's nice. It does that for me.
So does this have to like apply to our lives? Like can we make some stuff up?
No, I'm expecting you to make it up.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna assume that you are. So if in the event that you do decide to put your own true values, then you can just rest assured that your privacy is intact because I don't know the difference.
All right, I figured it out.
Okay.
Can I ask a weird question? Is anyone else's Excel sheet like kind of blurry for the words and stuff? Like yours isn't what I'm looking at yours right now, Justin. I don't know why this is like blurry, but
Are you in Excel or Google Docs?
it is. It says Google Docs.
I don't know.
Mine's is clear.
Okay.
Mine's isn't blurry.
I'm not sure.
Try clicking Control Plus. You might be zoomed out.
Yeah, that could be.
So good. Thanks anyways though.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can
Dang it.
reload or something. Try another computer. Okay, I'm gonna stop this recording now.